Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurin Syafiqah binti Muhammad Zaidi, and in today's video I will explain to you about one analytical techniques that is used in food industry. The analytical technique that I choose is HPLC, which is high pressure liquid chromatography. So on the first part, we will see how food industry use HPLC in their everyday activities. The first uses of HPLC in food industry, it is used to detect any contaminants or additive in food. This is because many food companies will run several tests on their products before their products reach the shelves of supermarket, and one of the important tests involve chromatography. In chromatography, it used to separate the mixture and detect any contaminants in their product that could lead to bacterial spoilage. The second uses of HPLC in food industry, it analyzes the nutritional quality. It allows the food company to identify components in their product. For example, nutrients such as proteins, vitamins, preservative, and more. Next, I will explain to you the fundamental information of HPLC. What is an HPLC? HPLC is an analytical technique that is used to separate, identify, and quantify the components in a mixture. It is the single biggest chromatography technique that is essential to most laboratories worldwide. In column chromatography, a solvent drips through a column filled with an absorbent under gravity. HPLC is a highly improved of column chromatography. A pump forces a solvent through a column under high pressure up to 400 atmosphere. The column packing material or absorbent or stationary phase is typically a granular material made of solid particles such as silica or polymers. The pressure makes the technique much faster than column chromatography. This allows us to use smaller particles for the column packing material. The smaller particles have a much larger surface area for interactions between the stationary phase and the molecules that pass through it. This results in a much better separation of the components in the mixture. The pressure liquid is typically a mixture of water, acetonitrile, and methanol, and is referred as mobile phase. The components in the mixture are separated due to their different degrees of interaction with the absorbent particles. This causes different elution rates for the different components and leads to the separation of the components as they flow out of the column. Compared to column chromatography, HPLC is highly automated and extremely sensitive. There are two types of HPLC, which are normal phase of HPLC and the reverse phase of HPLC. The only difference between these two types of HPLC is in normal phase of HPLC, it uses a non-polar solvent, while in reverse phase of HPLC, it uses a polar solvent. Next, I will explain why HPLC is widely used in food industry. This is because it can be used to detect and quantify the target analytes to monitor the levels of pesticides on food products. This to keep them in line with the government limits and to protect the consumers. Next, I will talk about how HPLC techniques help development and analysis of products in food industry. Analytical methods are essential to ensure product quality, execute regulations, and to comply with food standards, specification, and labeling requirements in food industry. The most important components that are analyzed in food industry can be divided into four groups that are residue and contaminants, food additive, natural ingredients, and also pesticides in food. In residue and contaminants, for example, antibiotics in food. Residue of antibiotics in food, especially food of animal origin like milk, egg, and meat, will present a health risk to the consumer. Therefore, analytical methods have to be established for food safety and quality control. Next is pesticides in food. They are agriculturally used in great quantities. They act in the most cases as herbicides, insecticides, nematicides, and many more. Many of them are known to be persistent and has toxic effect in the environment. As conclusion, they have to be regarded as environment pollutant. Lastly, I will give a brief explanation on how data from the HPLC are useful in food industry. In HPLC, we have detectors. In food analysis, the limit of detection or LOD and limit of quantification LOQ are defined as 2 to 3 and 10 to 20 times the noise level. The LOD for food additive can be as low as 100 parts per trillion. Other important detection parameters are dynamic range, calibration linearity, chromatographic selectivity, and qualitative information. A detector is considered selective if it does not respond to the collating compounds that could interfere with the analyte quantification. As a conclusion, keeping track with the increasing diversity of food products with their ever-expanding food additive is a daunting analytical challenge, one that must be continually met if we are to ensure the quality and the safety of our food product. Currently, HPLC is the most powerful technique because of its fundamental principle, which is selection through differential molecular interaction. This is because the fundamental is based on the various types of all the chemical species. This selection principle continues to be a rich source of methodological innovation for analytical separation, identification, and also quantification. That's all for me. Till next time. Thank you.